Hello, everybody. Okay, thank you so much for those of you who are jumping in and watching this on the replay. I'm so sorry last night's call didn't actually record, but it is what it is, and it's always perfect. So I am so sad yet so excited for you all. It's week 6 at the end, and you have all come so far. I hope that each and every one of you can really recognize the work that you've put in. And if there's parts that you feel like you haven't put enough work in, like it hasn't been everything you could have made it, it's absolutely fine. There is every opportunity to renew, review, and do so much more each and every day. No one ever gets things right off the bat. No one ever gets it perfect continuously. Life is this constant self-evolution, self-evaluation that we get to really understand and nurture within ourselves. So it really is an opportunity here within this 6-week program to just constantly keep checking back in. I've literally just gotten off a one-on-one with Jody, and it was really about just going, okay, so where are the things I think I'm going to fall short on? Where are the things that I believe that I need a little bit more structure, a little bit more understanding? Where do I know things might fall down a little bit? Where do I know I'm going to end up falling short? Where do I know I'm going to end up with things happening that maybe I'm going to need to make sure I structure my day so that I can beat the shortfalls? So you're into week 6. For those of you who haven't yet shared, please share your priority for this week. We're still going. We've still got time, even though we finished on Sunday. If you haven't done your week 6 priorities, I'd love for you to share. If you have not done your remeasurements yet, please share. Please go through it. And I also wanted to jump in today and go through the mind section, which Sandy has got her profile up. So I'm just going to share across the mind section right now for Miss Sandy. So coming into our connector's mind, and our mind in the connector is an extraordinary thing because their own beliefs and thoughts and emotions are something that rules them extremely predominantly. So with the mind, it's all about how they perceive things, what they believe to be true. And looking at your chrono wheel, if you haven't yet managed to figure out how to map these sorts of areas, it's very essential because your brain is one of the most powerful areas of your body. And if you're not interacting with that with love, respect, and nurture, then how do you think things are going to go in the rest of your body? This is the powerhouse that really rules a lot of the roost. So if you aren't if you aren't synchronized with it, if you're not honoring it, if you're not keeping check of it, it can wander off into stories and beliefs that actually don't serve you. It'll pick up bad habits along the way. And so it's our due diligence to make sure that we really do come back and check in on ourselves. And make sure if you haven't yet viewed your scheduled details, but your mind is something that is just, it's so beautiful. And when we start to look at some of the statements here for our connectors, you get to really understand what drives them and why they are such beautiful humans. We are all beautiful humans, but these guys are just so empathic and they're so giving and so nurturing. So this one here, they might be aware of other people's opinions because of my naturally high progesterone conversion. So these guys are really all about the happy hormones, keeping everybody happy, keeping everybody in a better state. They care so much about other people and they really just want others to be happy. There are times when I become anxious and restless, and I look for an immediate fix to help me feel calm fast. Smoking a cigarette at these times may not be the best option because it is a stimulant and it's also not healthy for the body. So this just shows that reactiveness. So it's being aware that, okay, when my mind is not at ease, I can be reactive. Our diplomats are very similar in a sense that when they feel this, they want to reach for an instant way of getting rid of it because we just want to feel good all the time. When I'm doing too many things at once, this tends to make my mind feel sluggish. And if it's not working well, in fact, it might just be the fact that they're jammed up with too many tasks. So an ability of having a good brain dump goes a long way. Get it all out of the head, get it clear, get it visual, get it in a place that you can really look at it and take a moment to just keep, I love the acronym KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Take away all the noise. What is the main thing I need to be doing right now? What are the things that I have to get done? What are the things I'd like to get done? And then, what are all the other things around that then fall behind or they're not so important? I may have a strong social awareness of myself and others and be conscious of the needs of others due to my brain activity in the left temporal lobe. So They are always looking for activities that are social because socializing is very interesting to them. So they get to understand that ultimately for our connectors, they may feel flat and tired, and the best thing for them to get back balanced again is to be around other people. They need that outside impact. They need people around them to constantly help them feel better. And this is not saying they're high energy and they're draining of other people. In fact, it's quite often the other way. These are our, quite often these people are our VAs, our PAs, our assistants. They may not need to be the center of attention, but they are so happy to sit there and be the support mechanism for so many around them, helping everybody else and making sure that everyone around them feels better. Because they know that naturally, when they can help other people around them feel better, they will naturally feel better because of that, which is so special. Um, Mm. So it's also very important with people like our connectors reading through some of these statements is that just making sure that they don't enable other people's opinions to formulate their own happiness, ensuring that you stand strong and stick away from judgment because we need to remember that people's judgment is coming from a reflection within themselves and not of our actual truth. And so as long as you just know that you are doing your best to show up as the best version of you, then this is enough. If you are showing up the best version of you to help other people with such a good backing of emotions and the reasons of why you're doing it, then there's nothing wrong with that. And you need to learn to stand strong within that. Again, yeah, there's a lot in here about being careful about who you have around you. The people that you keep closest to you are the ones that will affect you the most. They're the ones that have the impact on you. They're the reason why you are or are not happy in yourself quite often. So making sure you can get really truthful with yourself and understanding, okay, what are the things I like? What are the things that I like that are good for me? And how can I find ways of doing more of those things so that I'm happier, I can be happier with and for other people, and likewise, they will be happy with and for me, so everyone ends up happy. It is so important to you guys, and your brain may feel a little bit overwhelmed and overdone, and it's really important to get out and get in nature. So the beach, the sun, the fun, find the ways to make things light-hearted rather than being quite heavy and doom and gloom. And if you're feeling like you've got a lot of inflamed joints, bad skin, or even congestion in the head, they can be indicators of doing too much intense stress or intense behaviors for too long. The body will naturally show you that you are on the verge of overdoing it. So if you're suffering from any of these things, just check in with yourself and go, okay, where am I not prepping and planning myself? Where have I not got my boundaries? Where have I not got things set up so that I can be in a better space for myself constantly? Repetitive tasks may not be ideal for this health type because even though they're good at them, these duties may cause them to feel dull and dissatisfied and confused. So if you are someone who is stuck in an environment where this is like you have to be in this role, like this is the only other option, maybe you can do things like have some sunflowers around you. Maybe you can have some colourful pillows, a pretty wall picture. Maybe you could be on a Fitball while you're in the office doing all this mundane stuff. But then making sure that your social life really enables you it really enables you the ability to be set free. So you go in and you do your hard day work and stuff, but then to be able to step outside and go, all right, air it all out, let it all out, let go of the energy, let go of the stresses, stimulate myself physically and emotionally around the outside things, and then I can come back in and do the mundane things. But maybe breaking it up into small bite-sized chunks is most effective for these sorts of people. This connector, which is Sandy, I may be resilient and patient when facing challenges. My natural prolactin and oxytocin levels may make me protective towards family members and social friends. And my serotonin levels, when they get low, I may find myself hysterical, pessimistic, and obstinate. So right there, you can see, get enough sleep. If you're not sleeping enough, you will be erratic. And you will be very affectionate and protective of those closest to you. So again, if you're not sleeping enough, they may set you off when you just want to be loving them and nurturing them. But if you haven't had enough sleep, you're not going to receive what they're saying and how they're behaving in the right way, which would lead to a whole world of conversations that just aren't actually serving anybody. So in the mind, it really does give this understanding of knowing when I'm in the zone, what are the things for me to look out for? What are some of the environmental things and the way that I reframe things? How am I showing up? What are the thoughts and feelings that I'm behaving with? And you can see within this section how to avoid, like if you're noticing, like I said, the inflammation, if you're noticing you're tired or maybe you're forgetful or everything's becoming a bit too much, then it just might be the fact that there are some sections in the mind that will give you the hints and the tools on where you need to adjust your life just a little bit so you can bring back in that balance and that calm state, which equals a lot more fun, which is what these guys are definitely all about. So I just want to play a quick game with everyone. And I want to give you guys, I really want to make sure, like I've said, that you all have this opportunity to understand the 6-week self-evolution program is not just about you, it's actually also in the group setting about you being able to understand all of the other health trends. So we're going to play an office game. So imagine you're in the middle of a massive project and you have a huge deadline and it's due today. You are the person, you're walking back from the morning tea, you're running into that person in the hallway that always loves to have a good chit chat. They're always so excited about everything. Life is just amazing and they love to talk to you about random things. How much would that frustrate you? Would you be all in on the conversation, chit-chatting away and loving their enthusiasm? Or would you be the kind of person that's like, oh my God, just shut up and go away, I have things to be done? These people are our crusaders. And so if you're interacting with a crusader, sometimes if you're the connector just wanting to have fun and chit chat, maybe just be aware of those crusader type people and understand that you actually need to just check in with them and find out when. So they're not being cold or they're not ignoring you, but you can actually check in and find out when's going to be a really cool time for you to have a conversation. And they'll schedule you in, whether you're in a relationship, a friendship, a work environment. These are the important parts of that person to understand. They just want to get things done. And if you're between them getting things done, then they are going to be a little bit resentful, short, and blunt with you because they just don't find your chit chat necessary when they're trying to achieve a goal. So it's having that compassion for their drive and understand and know that this person is amazing at getting stuff done. Like that is such a gift. But we're just remembering that they're not being cold, they're focused. And that can be an amazing thing too. Then we come to this person number 2. Everyone's pretty stressed around you. You've got tasks to do, but you just can't wait to speak to your workmates and team about what's been happening recently. It's so much fun. Yet your workmate who you've told has totally shut you down and is barely paying you attention. And it almost seems like they're cold and they don't care. You really wish they'd be just a little bit less rigid, and you really are just wanting to connect with this person and have them smile and feel better. And of course, that picture there was perfect because I could just see a connector taking a selfie and sending it around the lunchroom just to motivate, inspire, and give everyone a bit of a smile on their dial. It's exactly what a connector would do. So understanding this, how much would this affect you if you were that person? Our connectors would potentially feel like that person hates them or they don't see them as value, or they might go into a self-sabotaging story of, oh, well, they just think I'm stupid, so I must be stupid, so I'm no use here and I'm useless and no one likes me. You know, you can see how that could snowball. Then you come into the conversation of understanding that connectors, they just want to help other people feel happy. And they're here to have chit chat. They love conversations. They're great at having multiple conversations and thought patterns at once. These guys are awesome. And they're also the ones that love color and interaction. So they're the ones you want to get organizing a social event, or you want to have them organizing how to make the office a little bit prettier. And they're so super useful. They're very creative and they have a very good attention to detail when they're focused and it's something that's fun and creative and they get control over. So like a crusader, they're very effective in what they do, but it's done in their way and you've just got to love them for how they are. These guys are also the ones that kind of don't like awkward silences. So they quite often will start a conversation about something slightly random, slightly a shock tactic to get you to come in and have connection with them, no matter how it looks. Beautiful connectors. Then we come into our this group here. So you are you are over everybody demanding your time. You've been sitting here for far too long. All you can think about is how you can escape to the kitchen or the toilet and just get a quick movement of your body for just a few seconds. You feel trapped and bored and desperate and need some stimulation and movement. Yes, these people are just frustrating you no matter what they say and do. You're actually really excited about the weekend though, because you've got dance class, rock climbing, hiking, catching up with friends, and all of the right priorities, hey? How much would you relate to this person? These are our activators. These guys need variety. They need change. They also don't like to be over demanded, over over commanded, and they like things to be a little bit more on their term, but they also enjoy doing all the things. So these guys are actually really great at they like to know the facts of everything. They like to see the grander picture. They don't like being, they have this instant BS meter, but they're also very fiery. So they will just get a job done. They'll say it how it is. And we love the way that they are because they are just so high intensity, and then they need a bit of a rest period. High intensity, they need a bit of a rest period. But you maybe have someone in your life who's like this constantly, and maybe you can see them on the edge of a burnout. And if this is someone that you know, love, and trust, maybe reaching out to them and having that conversation of like, as much as you love to do all of the things, I can see you kind of burning out, or maybe you're not, I feel like maybe lately you're not as high energy as you normally would. And they may confide within you that, yeah, I'm feeling pretty flat. Like I can't seem to find a way to get things going again because they just want to constantly be doing. So this is when you could reach out to an activator person in your life and be like, hey, like, have you thought about maybe you do need a bit of downtime? Maybe we could get off the coffee and have a bit of a chill, maybe a bit of a walk, a bit of a low impact sport or a low impact gym session just while you chit chat, some breath work, some movement, but nothing too much. They do need to rest as much as they do activity as well. Then we come into this person. So you're flying into the office, all you want to do is sleep in. You feel overwhelmed, overloaded, and resentful that the deadline is looming. You thought you would have had more time, but somehow everything has come to the head right now, today, right this moment. Not to mention there was traffic, and oh my gosh, you wanted to climb into a hole and not bother because all of the things are pushing you. You feel like you're being over demanded. These are quite often our diplomats. We are shocking at having time frames. We are shocking at keeping to a time frame and understanding it, and we are terrible for leaving things to the last minute. I am well known for being late. I have most of my clock set forward so that I have some chance, some fighting chance at actually being on time. So knowing that about our diplomats, knowing that they will be there till later, they will make sure they get everything done, but they need a flexible time frame to get things done. They don't like a big scary deadline. They are better off having small reminders set for them, having little smaller to-do lists that are the bite-sized chunks of the elephant, if that makes sense. They're the people that really do love to be there and support people, and they have a massive crusade. They've always got big talents and big things that they're working on. They want to be creating all these things for people, but we are shocking at multi-talented, multi-passion juggling. And sometimes you just need to help them bring everything back down into a bite-sized chunk. If you've got a diplomat who's really out of whack, make sure they're sleeping enough, they're not eating too much processed foods, and make sure that they've actually taken the amazing noise and abundance of thought processes going on in their head. Make sure they're not keeping it up there, and able to get a diplomat to sit down and get everything out on paper and pull things back together again and enable them to have better conversations where they've got clarity. Give them an opportunity to get on the paper so they can see the pattern of what needs to be done and how that can look, and enable them then to do step one without getting scared by the end line. They just need to see a sequential pattern that they can get done that isn't so scary and rigid. Then we have, you're sitting in a nice quiet office. You can hear everybody outside making a ruckus. You can see I've even structured this slideshow differently. You've probably got quiet music, brown noise going, so noise cancelling headphones. You've got a checklist that you're almost finished. You've already anticipated everybody else's shortfalls, and you've already got strategies in place to back you up because you know that everyone's going to be stressed and anxious. So you've anticipated handing in your work, and you're sneaking out for everyone before everyone gets a little bit rambunctious in the end of the day. In fact, you've already sent an email to the boss requesting an early submission and an early leave. These are our sensors. These guys are like, you know what, I'm just going to get the job done. I don't want to be here when everybody else is making all the noise. They need their quiet. They don't like to be interrupted. They like to have everything quite simple and logical. These guys are like, it doesn't make sense to leave it to the last minute. It doesn't make sense to miss things and mess things up. It makes sense to stop and make my list so I can understand exactly where I am, where I need to go, and what might come up. They're brilliant at doing a lot of the logical, tactical stuff and the analytics. And these are the people that are so these guys need the connectors to help keep things fun, creative, and happy and energized. These guys need the diplomats to keep to be the strong one around them, to be the one that just keeps them going, because diplomats are great at supporting our senses. You can see how activators give challenge to the senses. They will challenge their thoughts and their processes. They'll ensure that they're actually moving through things fast, and they're also have this creative flair that sort of goes in contrast with each other. So you can see in an office space how each and every person would really work well together in understanding each other and understanding how their strengths can be strengths, but they can also be, and their weaknesses can actually be someone else's strength. So working together, you can sort of understand that you're each amazing in your own way, and you're each actually perfect at assisting each other in the different sections of life. So hopefully you resonated this with some of your friends and family, and those people are actually, oh, I forgot to mention here, our guardians. Our guardians are the ones that are like fluffing around the kitchen, and they're making sure everything's tidy and they've got everything organized, and they were up baking some bread for everyone the night before, or a lasagna the night before, because you knew everyone was going to be stressed and you knew everyone was going to be on top of, like, all over the place. So you've already preempted that, and you've got lunch already made. You came in early to make sure everything was perfect, and now that you know that everyone's got their hand sanitizer and everyone's got their water and their coffee and their tea, now you'll go about your own work. Our guardians are such beautiful nurturers, and they care so much about those around them. Often, though, the guardians are actually the CEO running things, and they are maybe holding a ridiculous amount of weight because they feel like a lot of the CEOs run this program where they're actually stuck with a lot of information going on. Like they care so much about their team, but they also know that there's a big target that needs to be met. And often guardians will get out of whack when they realize that everyone being so high up, everyone either looks up at them, fears them, hates them, resents them, feels like the boss is the big, mean, scary person, when in actual fact, they're just a BFG. They just want to be loved. They just actually care about people. They want good, kind, common connections. They want decent connections. So you can see how the guardians have got such strength, but then some of the weaknesses they have would actually be nurtured and fulfilled by the other health types, as long as they're in balance. So I hope that's given you guys a little bit of an understanding of each of the different health types. But I think, yeah, finishing things up, I really just wanted you guys to sort of make sure you come back in and remember the conversations we've had as a group, remember what we've got, that you've been hearing from everybody else on how they've gone through the process, and understanding that, you know, there's so many people around you that will be very similar to everyone that's been in this group, and how you can each communicate better, or communicate, support each other better. At this point, I'd love to really chat about the detox. Quite a few of the girls jumped in last night and jumped onto the detox page and are initiating a detox for themselves. This group is staying open to support you all throughout that. This group is going to remain as a space of open communication, future endeavours, future groups, things like that. And each and every one of you gets to really be involved as much as you like in the rest of this group. Some of you haven't really been that involved with the group, which is fine. You know, you make of this what you will. That is your call. I'm not here to demand or dictate too much. It's really me supporting you guys to delve into this and break it down, and make sure you spend a little bit of time on each of these sections, so that you are wholesomely and balanced, effectively absorbing more of the information. Because if I had just given this to you all in one lump sum, it would have been too much, and you wouldn't have looked at it all, and you wouldn't have taken the time to assess and understand each of the different sections. So if you're someone who's wanting to do the detox, please let me know, because we will definitely stop recording. We will definitely be here to support you through and through with this, and enable you guys to go through any of that, break it all down, and give you the guidance and support you need. If you are doing the detox, I'd love for you to jump into the group once you've initiated it, and share what your detox looks like. What is a detox for you? What are your thoughts, fears, and hesitations that are coming up with it? Where do you feel like maybe you'll need extra support from the group? What can we do to help you stay on track? Also, there's the feedback form. If you haven't yet done that, please jump in and get the feedback form link, and finish that feedback form off, especially maybe leave it until you've done the one-on-one with me. So once you've done your one-on-one, then go back through the feedback form, fill that one out, and I would love to see you do a testimony, whether or not that is a video one or a written one. You choose whatever feels best for you. But if you took photos back in the beginning, take photos again. Please also make sure that you guys have been doing your weekly planner. That one, I would love everyone to quickly jump back into the group and do a comparison from where you were at the beginning to where you are now. How is your sleep? How is your digestion? How is your brain functions? How is your happiness? Where is everything sitting? And can you see the small wins? I know a lot of you, some of you have had huge wins, some of you have had mediocre wins, some of you feel like you've just not really made much progression at all, but you may have been expecting too much of yourself. At the end of the day, this is your journey and your body requires what it does. And we can't judge that. So I'd love for you guys to make sure you get on top of all of that and share it with the group and keep in contact. And also make sure you're booking your one-on-ones. Peace out, guys. Have a great day.